What's up guys, Bionic here. Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video in which I will have some very valuable information for you guys. I somewhat touched on this a couple times before, but I want to present the 10 champions or so, maybe 11 to be fully honest, that I use for all my speed runs in dungeons, okay? So this is end game builds and it is using no legendaries, all right? And I'm talking about like a minute for speed runs, roughly, in all dungeons. Spider is a little bit less, Ice Golem is a little bit more. I do play around with some champions here and there, which will end up being, let's say, a little bit longer, but less safe. But overall, you will see that the champions I'm going to present today are well known. I'm not reinventing anything here, but it is to show you guys that you can condense your needs to do dungeons for the end game. This is going to help free up a lot of gear. I also talked about that not too long ago. I did a spreadsheet for you guys, so here it is again, the core roster breakdown that I currently have on my account. I will go over the clan boss teams probably next, but for today I want to focus on the dungeons. Okay, so I'm going to have a lot of screenshots for you guys, and then we're going to go over these champions right here. You will also see that the gear on these champions is not all legendary, 5-star or 6-star. As you can see, a very small portion of the gear on my account is actually legendary. A lot of it is mainly rare 5-star, 6-star, and epic 5-star. So that is what I am still using all the way into the end game with no legendary champions to do all these speed runs. All right, I did dedicated videos on basically all of these. I'm pretty sure if you guys would go, let's say, on my channel and you would do a quick search for, let's say, speed runs, it would pop up, right? I can actually just show you guys real quick. If you want to see all of them, just go right in here and do speed runs, and all 4 of them will show up first. Okay, so Dragon 20, Ice Golem 20, Fire Knight 20, and Spider 20. So go ahead and watch each of those if you have more questions about them. Okay, but now all that being said, let's go back onto my account and look at the screenshots of all of these dungeons. We first have Dragon 20. Dragon 20 with a Royal Guard, the Seer, Mausoleum Mage, War Maiden, and Renegade. Seer and Mausoleum Mage and Renegade being reused quite a bit. As you can see, the Seer is there to deal the bulk of the damage for the waves, but she's not there to deal the bulk of the damage for the boss. Here it is the job of the Royal Guard, even though they have a very similar total amounts of damage dealt. Okay, War Maiden here, I quickly covered that not too long ago. I could replace with Lydia, but you know what? It is not better because I'm still better tuned with this, and I deal enough damage with my Seer as is to nuke those waves. I can do a run of one of them after if you guys want. If not, go check those videos if you want to see it in action. Then we have the Fire Knight Castle Stage 20. We have the Seer, we have 2 Cold Hearts, the Stag Knight, and Apothecary. Here again, I could put Lydia, but it's not going to be better. I need an extra shield set. He's the one wearing it. Apothecary could be wearing that shield set as well, but triple hit a 1, then quadruple hit a 1 times 2, and a lot of speed, or should I say well tuned. Okay, so well tuned in terms of speed. The next one is Ice Golem, my best run ever, 1 minute 27 seconds with this team right here. This is very risky, I'm not gonna lie. It failed a lot of the time, but it is somewhat still a speed run. So if you're just trying to break some records or something, you can work towards this. And again, we're reusing somewhat the same champions here with the Seer, Stag Knight, Mausoleum Mage, and Renegade. Gorgrab being used basically only here. So I suppose maybe I could drop the Gorgrab and go in with the Royal Guard, which would be very similar to the Dragon 20. But again, that would also be very risky. In fact, it would be even more risky. I would lose my revive. I would trigger that guy to hit me probably once or twice. So I will show you guys the run, or the team, sorry, that I typically use now on Ice Golem 20 to make it a little bit more safe. And finally, we have the Spider 20, which works on full auto, by the way. Okay, no legendary, and we have about 43 seconds. So this is not perfect, but it is because the Cold Hearts do not do their A3s first. So we have to wait until they cycle back around. But still, it's the fact that it works full auto. okay, with the same champions again built as is. All right, so that's basically it. The 10, roughly 11 champions, again, which I'll show you guys in a second, the extra one that I use for all my dungeon needs. So let's go over the gear of some of them real quick so that you guys roughly know how you can build yours. Let's start with the Seer. Seer, I feel, is a crucial part of all these builds, and I'm very reluctant to change the gear because let's face it, it is really nice. However, it's just not good enough for the arena. So at some point I might have to go full perception on this champion and try to reach similar stats, but like hopefully 400 plus accuracy. I think that would be the sweet spot for this champion. There is a lot of room for improvement. I kind of talked about her before. All the skills are done. Masteries, here they are. Again, don't blindly copy this, but that's basically it for that one. Then we have, going down the list, we're gonna have our muscly mage, with a shield set, a lot of resistance, also because he's being used in tag arena. 230 speed. Speed tuning here is very important, okay, so pay attention to the speeds. You got to go twice before each wave. This is important, and so this guy also needs to go before the Seer, which is why he's at this speed. Less will probably not work. So again, a lot of couple things you need to pay attention to. All the skills are done. Masteries, we do have Unshakable as the tier 6, again mainly for the tag arena here. Then we're gonna have the Gore Grab, which I can show real quick. Nothing too fancy, just kind of like full speed ahead. He's not that fast, and he doesn't compare to my Arbiter, but I don't use him anywhere else except Faction Wars, so this is good enough. And for the skills, they are all done. As for the masteries, here are the ones that I'm using, with Timely Intervention as the tier 6. Then we have the Royal Guard, our one of our main nukers, right? Enemy max HP AoE, one of the best ones in the game. Pretty much the best one, actually, to be fully honest. And then we have 3.8k attack, relatively slow, but again, the way it's tuned, this is good. We have 100% crit rate, 260% crit damage. All the skills are done. Here are the masteries. Flawless execution, because I want my dungeon runs to be more consistent. Then we have the Stag Knight, which is also in a shield set, right? I was using him in tag arena for a little while, not so much anymore, but I still need that shield set for my Seer to eat. All right, so this total stats on this guy, 218 speed. Again, the speed is important here, and we have 273 accuracy, which is a little bit too much for the PvE content. But if you want to use this guy in the arena, you're going to need a lot more. All the skills are done. Masteries, we do have Eagle Eye on this guy, so I suppose I could switch this up. I really did not build him for damage, even though apparently he has a decent multipliers. The next ones are, let's do the Cold Heart. So we have a Cold Heart number 1. When I'm going to say some very basic gear. This gear has been on my account for a very long time, and I kind of geared both of them to be very similar so that I can swap pieces back and forth on them to balance the total stats. One thing I will say about these two is that you want your total hit points to be above 30,000, I think, at a minimum, but also to be above your Renegade for the Spider Dungeon, and I'll show you guys that in a second. You also want them to be very close, if not above 200 speed. In this case, a little bit shy. Accuracy is too low on this one. I know I'm still lacking good accuracy banners on my account after all this times for Dark Elf. Actually, the better ones are on other champions, right, to be honest. We have 260% crit damage total. All the skills are done. Masteries, we have a counter attack sort of set up for masteries because you need that for the Fire Knight dungeon. Okay, so this is my dungeon specific Cold Heart mastery build. Both of them are quite the same. All the skills are done on the second one as well. Total stats for the second one quite similar, maybe a little bit faster, more accuracy, a little bit less crit damage, a little bit more HP. You can kind of see that it's not, you know, perfect, but like, you know, keep them as similar as possible. Then we have a trusty War Maiden still using in the end game, 230 speed as well on this one. A lot of accuracy, or at least enough for the PvE content. You want her to have enough HP as well so she doesn't get targeted or die first. All the skills are done. And then as for the masteries, they literally never changed since my clan boss build last year, right? It was a mix of like clan boss and arena, right? She would go first debuffing and then she would hit some shields, so I thought let's try to get her to deal some damage as well. Ruthless ambush. I mean, what was I thinking? But you know what, it works, so why change it? Okay, I'm good with this. I'm gonna keep rolling with it. Then we have the Apothecary, which is in, again, full speed ahead here. You know, nothing too fancy. I say full speed, it's not that great, but that's because he has HP percent boots. Okay, so you somewhat want him to be tanky because he is going to take the hits in the Fire Knight dungeon. If you remember, that's where I put him in. And so aside from that, it's pretty straightforward. All the skills are done. We have also a mastery setup that was never changed since my clan boss days with Apothecary. And I'm gonna say good enough. It's working. I bet I have my free reset. I do. I could change this, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm kind of happy with this. Total stats, we have a 3.7k defense, 200 speed or more, and we don't really care about the accuracy, and that is with a defense or flat defense banner, okay? And then we're gonna have our one and only Renegade, a poor man's Prince Kaimar. So who needs a legendary anyway to do this job with a frost set? In some cases, but for certain dungeons, I have to swap her boots because her speed. So in the spider dungeon, she needs to have literally no speed. In the other dungeons that I use her, she needs to have about 135 speed, okay? So that is done with a simple swap of the boots. And yes, I do use flat defense boots, because on a champion like this, at level 50, with 6-star flat defense items, that will give you a pretty substantial boost to your stats. All right, so I think gloves and boots are perfect for this. So right now she is kind of set up for my spider dungeon, which I'll do a run and I'll show you guys in a second. And when I do change these boots, I can quickly show you guys. It's a pair of stalwart boots. I kind of know by heart now, and they're ranked up to 14. It's going to give me plus 29 speed. So we're effectively going to be at about 130. Sorry, I said 135. 130-ish is good enough. And you do not want to max them out, or else the, you know, big increase in speed will be too much for what I'm trying to do, okay? So, guys, that's basically it. I think I covered all of them, right? So now let's jump into a dungeon run. I'm going to go for a dungeon run of the spider. I think because the renegade is currently set up for this, and the spider, even though I had a faster time before, I just, like I said, wanted simplicity for my total champions, therefore decided that I'm gonna lose a little bit on time, and I'm fine with that. But just because it is easier like this, and I don't farm the spider anymore. I've said this many times before, but I think that the better gear for the accessories is the one from the bazaar. So the only time I really have to farm this is for fusions. Anyway, let's go over this. We do have the Stag Knight going first. AoE from both of the Cold Hearts. Renegade is taking those hits. She hasn't even taken a turn yet. She should technically not die before she does take a turn. We have right there Heartseeker. Finally, boom, Renegade takes a turn, resets the skills, and dies. That is what you want from a Renegade. Only do that. Then we're going to start taking some hits on the Cold Hearts. Well, that's all right. It's also perfectly tuned because we don't care. We only need one more hit from one of these Cold Hearts, and then we are set. They have to cycle back around. That is normal. And then it's going to be that's it. We're also going to have a second hit from this Royal Guard right there, which is going to kill some of the Spiderlings, which means the second Cold Heart is going to survive just long enough to nuke once more, and then we're at 49 seconds. Okay, so it's usually in this range, but it works on auto. Again, I could have much better on my account, but that is not the point. The point is to have the simplest roster to do all my dungeons. Okay, so this is basically it, guys. I want to know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you later.